What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I got something to counterpunch. I just did a video about earlier today, rather, about Anthony Joshua and the Dillian White situation, and and I was asking where Ortiz was where he was at in all this, and a friend of the channel said said a comment that made a lot of sense when Anthony Joshua called out Ortiz. And we all know by now, he called out Ortiz first over Dillian White. So he calls him out on DAZN, with AK and Barack, right? Calls this guy out. And everyone was really surprised to hear him say Ortiz because, you don't really hear him say Ortiz. And a lot of people have never heard him say Ortiz before. I have. He mentioned Ortiz in the press conference of the post fight interview with Prevectin when he beat Prevectin. He said, let's dig up all Ortiz. Let's fight him. He said that. That was the first time he mentioned that. A lot of people didn't catch that interview, but I did. You know what I mean? I got a good ear for those type of things. He called him out then, but then he especially called him out, along with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. But then they asked him again, like, hey, who would ideally be your opponent? He was like, well, the top five, in that order, Ortiz, White, or Miller. Okay. Now, of course, we know that the LDBC will say, oh, that was changed around and it was really Miller, White, then Ortiz, right? Whatever. Okay. They have room to say that because nothing is moving forward at this point. You know what I mean? You give people room, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile, touche. Because Anthony Joshua called out Luis Ortiz. He called him out first, above Dillian White, above Miller. A lot of people say bullshit. I have proof. If you didn't see the DAZN interview with AK and Barack, I will post it below to let you guys see it yourself. I had to do it a few times for a couple friends of the channel to let them see for themselves, let them hear, let them watch it for themselves, okay? But a friend of the channel, he did state like, hey, shout out to you. Like, hey, Ortiz didn't do anything. He didn't call out or didn't respond to the call out that Anthony Joshua, had on DAZN. And this was like, I think it was like the 30th or the 31st of the year. And everyone was like, whoa, he called out Luis Ortiz, right? But we didn't hear anything about Luis Ortiz. Now, Luis Ortiz was adamant on responding to Dillian White when Dillian White said, hey, I'll fight you, or whatever. And he was like, okay, I'll fight you too. Then we didn't hear anything about that. But you did not hear Ortiz respond in any way. And if he did, I didn't hear about it. So if you guys have any evidence that Luis Ortiz responded in any way, my sources say none. Not saying it didn't happen, but to my knowledge, I haven't heard anything. So the question is, when someone like Ortiz, one of the top, at least the top 10, okay, he's regarded as a top 5 heavyweight, or especially the top best or the most, or the top 5 dangerous heavyweights that we have to offer right now, right? Because there's not too many people under that banner, under that level. When he says anything, it pretty much scratches. It pretty much makes a noise because there's too many people that report boxing news for it not to happen. So that's why I doubt in any kind of way that Ortiz responded to the call out of Anthony Joshua. The question I have is now that the sub from the channel mentioned, well, why didn't he do anything? Why didn't he respond? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, he's on social media. I don't know how much he is, but even if he's not, someone that's over him should have, hey, Anthony Joshua, the unified champion of the world, called you out. Okay? He called you out and said, hey, he would want to fight you if there's no Deontay Wilder or no Tyson Fury that's in his immediate future. So ideally, Ortiz, your name has been called up. So this is what I say to that. I say that Luis Ortiz needs better management. I said that in the last video. I'm going to post that probably later on because it's kind of long. I wanted to get this out first. But, I think Jay Jimenez, I think he needs to be more attentive to social media. Social media is a big reason fights get made. And if they don't get made because of social media is the reason they get big. Okay? They get huge. They get amplified when social media becomes introduced. You know what I mean? Because people are on their cell phones, they're at home on their smart TVs, on their tablets, on their watches. They're watching always some type of feed, some type of article that promotes boxing, that promotes news. So my thing is, if Luis Ortiz hadn't heard, maybe he didn't hear it. And if he didn't hear it, why? You know what I mean? Why wasn't this news to Luis Ortiz's ears? Like, hey, AJ called you out. What are we going to do about that? In the moment Luis Ortiz heard, oh shit, he wants to fight who? He wants to fight me? Okay, cool. All right. OJ, yo quiero una pelea con AJ. Pronto. Ya. You know what I mean? Let's get that done. So it seems to me like it's a big question mark on why he didn't call out, or respond rather. Why he didn't respond to that like he normally does. And my guess is maybe he didn't hear about it. And if he didn't hear about it, that's a problem. That's a problem from his management not getting the info to him that he needs. Okay, I know he's the fighter and he relies on his management, but it's up to his management to get him the best possible fights. There are no better fights than he could ever get except for AJ. He's had the Deontay Wilder route. He needs to go back to zero. He needs to get that fight. And if that fight was available to him, okay, if that was really a fight that AJ wanted, and I don't see AJ saying he don't want to fight he wants a fight and really don't want one. You know what I mean? Now, I do see Eddie, not wanting that fight. I think if anybody could come in between that fight would be Eddie. Eddie's like, no, mate, fuck that. We're not going to fight Ortiz. You know what I mean? He'll find some other fighter. I just got an igging suspicion that Eddie would not want that fight to happen. And, people can throw it, oh, it's not marketable enough. He got a loss. He's old. You can say whatever you want to say. But I got an igging suspicion there's other reasons that Eddie does not want Anthony Joshua fight someone risky as hell like Luis King Kong Ortiz. You know what I mean? But again, if King Kong Ortiz did not hear about the call out, that's the problem. And the problem is his management, the people around him that are not informing him of who wants that fight with him or not. You see what I'm saying? And then that was big news. So I don't see why he didn't hear about it, but you don't hear about everything. But again, that was a very good question. Shout outs to you, the friend from the channel that commented. I don't remember the name. Forgive me. But you know who you are. And you guys tell me what you think about Ortiz not responding. Was it purposely? Did he hear about it or what? You guys tell me. But anyway, this is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. Please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.